Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig. My wife and co-host Kathy is not with me today. You have me flying solo. The Brian Craig Show podcast, of course, is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. If you need roof repair or replacement and you're in the state of Florida, reach out to Tom Laporta. He will never sell you a roof you do not need. Online at laportaroofing.com. Okay, so all this insane talk from the media, from the Democrats, that Trump has started some trade war that he's going to lose with Canada and Mexico. This is complete 100% nonsense. You know, when it comes to money, when it comes to business, when it comes to economics, Donald Trump is an economist. He's got the advanced business degree. He has made billions and billions of dollars. And the people around him are from that world too, not just Elon Musk, but in particular, because we're dealing with Canada so much, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, is a close friend of his and has been advising him for weeks since he won, involving TikTok and other things involving Canada. Okay, so Donald Trump has not gone rogue here. And a lot of information's coming out about our relationship in the United States with Canada, and it's really disturbing. You know, the Canadians are a client state of the United States who's been ripping off this country in ways that the American people have not been aware of. In fact, most people in general are not aware of it in Canada either, and probably a lot of people in government haven't been aware of how much money the United States has been giving to Canada and how we've been supporting them. Americans work harder than any people in the world. And what we've been finding out is that we've been paying, well, billions does not even put a word on it. I mean, many multi-billions and trillions of dollars over the decades to all the countries of the world. And my guess is the reason that is, I don't know exactly why it's this way, but our corrupt government officials who are always stealing money from the U.S. Treasury, they must not be able to steal money from domestic products or domestic projects or things from the federal government, or it's very difficult. And it's easier for them to steal from the foreign aid because they give so much foreign aid around the world. And the real purpose of the foreign aid today, and it's been this way for a long time, is so that people like Biden and others, they can steal money and enrich themselves and their families. And what we found with Canada was shocking. Number one, President Trump shared a few weeks ago that the United States has been giving $250 billion, that's with a B, $250 billion with a B, in money to Canada and foreign aid each and every year, which I had no idea. I don't think anyone knew we were giving 10 cents in foreign aid to Canada. Foreign aid, you think about foreign aid, it goes to a country that's at war, that's losing a war, they've had an economic disaster, they've had an environmental disaster, a natural disaster, or at least a third world country. Not that I'm saying that all the foreign aid is good. Most all of it, 99% of it, I'm sure is bad. But, you know, Canada is a first world country. And if you were to go around the world and find a country that was closest to the United States, Canada's the closest to the United States as any other country. I don't mean in distance because we border them. I mean, like their society, their culture. It's not like it's not the United States, but it's the closest to the United States, and they're a first world country. And we are funding the entire country. It's like Ukraine, but worse. And how long it's been going on? Forever and a day, right? You know, so $250 billion a year. We also pay for their military and military defense on top of all that. And the $250 billion a year we're sending Canada in foreign aid in one way, shape, form, or another, I don't know. We'll get more information on this as it goes on, is funding everything with their government, including their socialized healthcare system. And the reason that socialized healthcare is working in Canada, and this is probably true in other countries, but the reason it's working in Canada is not just because they have a small population, that's about 10% of the size of the population of the United States. It's because on top of the huge taxes that they saddle their people with in Canada, their citizens, we're giving them all this extra cash that is supporting everything. And it's not just their socialized healthcare system, it's everything else. That's why we don't have, I hate to use that word socialized in this country, in the United States, but the reason we don't have national healthcare is we don't have someone to subsidize it from another country like Canada has with us. And what I've come to realize with what Trump is doing, in particular, I'm talking about Canada, with the tariffs, right, which are import taxes, raising these tariffs, is a couple things. One, he's sick and tired of us subsidizing Canada. I think he was probably just as shocked to find out about it as I was and you were, and he got angry about it. And also, he doesn't want all these things that should be manufactured in the United States being manufactured in Canada. In particular, cars. I don't know, what, 25, 30% of cars in the United States are manufactured in Canada from U.S. automakers. He doesn't want that. He wants them made here. And so far as oil and natural gas, we do get a lot of oil and natural gas from Canada, but we have enough here of both in the United States. We don't need to be importing it from Canada. And so far as winning a trade war, I was reading today that Canada, that about between 77 and 80% of their exports are to the United States. Wow, that's crazy. You know, in Mexico, their exports are about 85% of their exports are to the United States. And that's only the legal exports from Canada. Right? I'm not talking about the drugs or the human smuggling they've been doing. And really, like 100% of what they export in Mexico comes to us. But about 80% of Canadian exports come to the United States. The United States, we export about 14% to Canada. I read today. Now, I just read that in an article or two today. I'm not an expert on the percentages of exports and all that stuff. Who really is? Well, Donald Trump is. So the idea that a country that's exporting about 80% of their exports to the United States, and it's a very tiny economy compared to ours as well for both countries, it's a joke. You know, but there's a lot coming out of Canada. Now, this really shows you how, and maybe you've seen this article, but it really shows you how small the Canadian economy is to the United States. Canada has been on the coattails of the United States in the modern era. They have this illusion of being a top economy in the world because they're on our coattails and we've been subsidizing. And I want you to share this article. Now, this person's quotes have been in a lot of publications, but I'm going to share an article from the New York Post today. Listen to this. The CEO of Canada's second largest publicly traded company says Canadians want their government to do all things that President Trump is demanding, and slammed Trudeau for not preventing a trade war. Trump signed an executive order to slap 25% across-the-board tariffs on Canada, citing its failure to meet his demands on helping crack the fentanyl and illegal immigration trade. So think about this. You know, Canada, because it's a long border, it's a large border. I don't know how many miles it is anymore off the top of my head, but it's a long border, and it's completely unfortified. And you have some border crossings when you drive, but it's an unfortified border between the United States and Canada. And fentanyl and other poisonous drugs, illegal drugs, are flowing all the time. Plus, there's a lot of illegal immigration going on, and they're not doing anything to stop it. Toby Lutke, who co-founded Shopify, okay? And what do you think about this? This is the second largest publicly traded company in all of Canada, is Shopify. Now, nothing against Shopify. Shopify is all right. I've used Shopify when we were offering our Mighty MAGA Lions. Kathy and I partnered up with one of my YouTube moderators, Dee, and we were offering you guys the Mighty MAGA Lions. We set up a Shopify store. Okay, and we offered the Mighty MAGA Lions through Shopify. I had no idea Shopify was a Canadian company, but think about this. The second largest publicly traded company in all of Canada is Shopify. Seems a little weak, doesn't it? It really does. It doesn't seem that important of a company. It's almost like a novelty company. But this is what Toby, the co-founder of Shopify, wrote on X. All right, listen to this. Canada thrives when it works with America together. win by helping America win. Trump believes that Canada has not held its side of the bargain. That's exactly right. These are things that every Canadian, and he goes on, these are things that every Canadian wants its government to do. These are not crazy demands, even if they come from an unpopular source. Now, I don't agree with that. He's saying Trump's unpopular. Trump's incredibly popular. Maybe he's talking about in Canada. These tariffs are going to be devastating to so many people's lives and small businesses. Lucky's critique came in response to a clip of Trudeau announcing 25% retaliatory tariffs on $107 billion worth of U.S. goods and pushing for policies targeting red states. Shopify, the e-commerce giant Lucky co-founded in 2006, is worth about $150 billion. It's Canada's biggest tech company and biggest ever startup, and second only to the Royal Bank of Canada in size. See that? You know, and again, I'm not knocking Shopify, but come on. Shopify is like their biggest company, second only to the Royal Bank of Canada. It shows you Canada is really a tiny little economy. Lucky is worth an estimated $10 billion. He's one of Canada's richest people. He goes on, this was all on X. Leadership is about doing what's right, not what's popular, and hitting back will not lead to anything good. America will shrug it off. Canada will decline. And he means decline economically. It's simply the wrong choice and a possibility space where much better options would have been available. Trudeau has warned Canadians that tough times are ahead during this trade war. Canada, now this is in the New York Post I'm reading from, Canada was America's biggest overall trading partner in 23, with more than $900 billion in goods and services exchanged by the two countries. Last year, the United States imported around $377 billion worth of goods from Canada while exporting $322 billion to Canada. See, right there, they're exporting more to us than we're importing to them. And Trump wants to stop that. When he talks about a trade imbalance, that's part of it. You know, you are going to be overrun with information from the fake news media and the Democrats and even a lot of Republican establishment people who are going to tell you that Trump's going to run the economy into the ground with this. Have you ever known Trump to be wrong? And another thing on top of that, President Trump, you know, think about it. President Trump, who knows more about economics than President Trump? You know, other presidents, the people they have advising them, the economists that advise presidents, they have a PhD in economics, but they never worked in business or built a business or looked for investors or made a payroll. They're college professors. They have no practical experience. It would be like you're on trial. You got a criminal trial in a heavy murder case, right? And you're facing life or the death penalty. Would you hire a lawyer that's had dozens, maybe even hundreds of successful defense outcomes for their clients' acquittals? Or would you want to hire someone who's an attorney? Hey, maybe they're the same age as that trial attorney with all those cases they won, but they're a trial attorney. They're a lawyer who's never been to trial. They got the law degree, but they never practiced law. Think about that. A lawyer who has a law degree but never practiced law. Would you want them defending you in a death penalty case? Hell no. And that's what these other presidents do. They hire and bring in these economists who have the degree but no experience. It makes no sense. And, you know, Canada and Mexico, we're really under attack from both, not just being taken advantage of economically. That's mostly the fault of our corrupt establishment politicians, the never Trumpers, right? But I know, exactly. It's insane that this has been going on for so long. But what's not our fault is that they're bringing in the fentanyl and allowing illegal immigration through their border into ours. The party's over. I mean, how long are we supposed to allow Canada and Mexico to take advantage? And we spend so much time focused on Mexico, and Canada's had a free ride to basically steal from us and go against us for decades and decades. And, they're so entitled in the leadership up in Canada. I don't even think they realize, in some of them, the advantage they've been taking of us. Maybe they do. But things have changed. I mean, this is what we elected President Trump for. This is the thing. We're not used to, I don't think we really are in the United States. We are not used to having a president of the United States that puts America and Americans first. It's really different, isn't it? And when you see things like this with the trade wars that are coming up, they already signed the order. They go into effect next month. You can see that, wow, we got a president who is out there putting America and Americans first. When's the last time you've ever really felt that? We're always trying to make peace in this place, right? In Iraq, in the Middle East. We're sending money off to Ukraine, and it's been going this way all our lives in different countries around the world. I mean, right now it's Ukraine and what's going on today, but you change the names of the countries. That's how it's been all our lives. When have we had a president who put our country first ahead of others? What do we need from Canada or Mexico that we can't make here? I mean, I want you really to think about it. And I know it's uncomfortable because you're not used to it for a lot of people. But it makes sense. And the last thing President Trump wants to do is wreck the economy. We know. I mean, I know prices are high. I mean, I tell you, it really blows my mind how expensive food has gotten over the last 4 years under Biden. Things will come down. I've already noticed gas prices coming down, haven't you? And as time goes on, even more things are going to come down. Now, I want to tell you guys about Mike Lindell at MyPillow. Mike Lindell's been with us for many years here on the program, and now is an incredible time to do your shopping at MyPillow.com. With our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, it's free shipping on all orders site-wide, no matter how large or small the order is, which is an incredible offer. And on top of that, free shipping, you get the incredible discounts site-wide. So whatever the discount is on the product, you get that and free shipping site-wide. Now, I don't know how long this is going to last. I just know it's in effect right now. And the free shipping will end without notice. I'll just find out in the morning. I'll get an email when I wake up in the morning from Mike Lindell's assistant that'll tell me that the free shipping offer is over, and it will end without notice. So take advantage of it. Kathy and I already have. We ordered some towels and sheets for our daughter in California. And with Valentine's Day coming up, it's a great time to buy slippers. They have the MyPillow slippers for men and women, the bathrobes. There's so many great things that you can find at MyPillow.com at huge discounts. And now with free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And remember, when you go to MyPillow.com and you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you're supporting all the content I bring to you. The podcast, my YouTube channel, and of course, the radio show with Steve Kane and myself. Okay. And it's greatly appreciated. Those of you that have supported us through MyPillow over the years. So it's free shipping on all orders, no matter how large, no matter how small. You won't see this advertised on the website. It's kind of like a behind the scenes secret special that's going on. But when you check out at MyPillow.com, you'll see it there. So go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, free shipping site-wide. My name's Brian Craig. Kathy not with me today. We'll take our first break and be back right after this. Do you feel overwhelmed? Are you stuck in self-doubt or lost in the chaos of your life? It's time to reconnect with yourself. From renowned psychologist and author Dr. Akira Olson comes the book, The Journey to Self, available on Amazon. This must-read and life-changing book gives you practical, actionable exercises to build self-awareness, set healthy boundaries, and transform your mental health. Real happiness starts within. Order your copy right now on Amazon. The Journey to Self from author Dr. Akira Olson. Parenting is tough, but giving bad advice, that's easy. The Bad Dad Advice Podcast is where 4 dads, a rookie, and 2 so-called pros share their hilariously terrible takes on fatherhood. Need sleep training tips? They got them. Will they work? Doubt it. Trying to keep your house clean? Lower your expectations. Bad Dad Advice is a casual, no-pressure, all-laughs podcast about the ups and downs of being a dad. Make sure you subscribe because they really need this podcast to do well. If this podcast fails, the guys are stuck doing chores. New episodes of Bad Dad Advice drop each week. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Bad Dad Advice Podcast, the worst advice you'll ever love. Start listening right now. Have you been chasing financial freedom your whole life, but still find yourself living paycheck to paycheck? You're not alone. But ask yourself this: what if wealth wasn't just about money, but about faith, purpose, and lasting success? Author Mario R. Andre unveils the path to true financial independence in his book, Faith and Money Relations, available on Amazon. Faith and Money Relations is a blueprint for building wealth through faith and smart strategies. With this book, you'll learn how to convert your income into portfolio and passive earnings. Discover how to manage debt, grow multiple income streams, and create a life where money serves you, not the other way around. Author Mario R. Andre's approach is grounded in faith and designed to help you break free from corporate constraints and build wealth that stands the test of time. Are you ready to unlock your potential? Then order your copy of this must-read and life-changing book, Faith and Money Relations, from author Mario R. Andre. Available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Every small town has its secrets. In the best-selling novel from Australian author Stephanie May, Rumors and Repercussions, available on Amazon, free-spirited Kylie Gardner and her friends, the Sunsets, face a summer in 1979 that changes everything. Friendships are tested, innocence is lost, and a dark revelation leaves scars that will last a lifetime. Decades later, Kylie must return to Orange, where haunting memories resurface and buried truths demand to be uncovered. Rumors and Repercussions is a story of friendship, bravery, and the unthinkable. It will keep you hooked until the very last page. Available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Order your copy today. Rumors and Repercussions from author Stephanie May.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. And, this is the 1,808th episode of the Brian Craig Show podcast. Wow, I can't believe we have that many. You can do a lot of binge listening, guys. And I know some of you have been with us since episode 1. And here we are, 1,808 episodes later. And wow, it's going strong. Thanks so much, everyone, for all your support. Okay, so things are just getting nuts with DOGE. And I'd mentioned the other day, there's so many stories out there that are always trying to portray Elon Musk and Trump being on the outs with one another. I mean, that's just something that, and out of everything Trump's doing, what makes them most upset is something that, messes around with their money. And DOGE, like with the trade deals, right? DOGE is a part of that. And things are getting nuts. And, there was a story that came out over the weekend that thousands and thousands of at-home federal workers have been working second jobs. And I don't mean moonlighting. I mean, they're working full-time other jobs while they're supposed to be working for the government, which is a lot of fraud. People could go to prison for that. In fact, it very well could be the largest government scandal in history because it's been going on since 2020. So we got 5 years of this, and I'm sure it's gotten worse. And these federal workers, a lot of them are six-figure earners. I mean, there's just so much corruption going on at the federal government while us poor serfs in America just work hard to feed DC. And DOGE really has them freaking out. And, President Trump has had Elon living at the White House, staying in the Lincoln bedroom, for those that have wondered. Isn't that something? It's pretty amazing, isn't it? And a story just came out today on X. Listen to this. USAID, which, of course, is a federal agency department that gives money all over the world. USAID senior officials have been put on leave after physically trying to stop DOGE from accessing agency systems. 2 USAID officials and their deputies were put on leave late Saturday night after refusing to allow DOGE members access to USAID systems. The DOGE members threatened to physically call the police after being refused entry. They were trying to access the security and personnel files Federal officials are concerned that Trump is trying to fold U.S. aid into the U.S. State Department in an effort to cut government corruption and bloat. U.S. aid employs approximately 10,000, excluding contractors, with two-thirds of them overseas. 60 U.S. aid members have already been put on leave in the past week after they were trying to circumvent President Trump's executive order on stopping foreign aid. And then we got another story. The highest-ranking Treasury Department official is resigning rather than complying with a request by DOGE for access to audit where they've spent trillions of dollars a year. Why would and then the question's asked, why would career bureaucrats fear an audit by Elon Musk and DOGE? Because they're stealing the money. It's who knows where the money's going. It's not going where it's supposed to be going. There's so much theft going on in Washington. These people in Washington have been doing so many financial crimes for so many decades. They're criminally insane, I've thought, and think that they're not even doing crime. This is how it goes. Well, if that was true, they wouldn't try to stop Elon Musk from having access. And now Elon Musk, apparently he has access to the entire Treasury Department system. And that's key because that shows, because all the money comes from the Treasury Department. You know, they always talk about when there's elections coming up, like about the Social Security lockbox, for example, right? Oh, you know, there's not going to be enough money for Social Security. There's no Social Security lockbox, okay? Everything comes from the U.S. Treasury. They're like one big account for the most part. I know that's a little simplistic, but you know what I mean. And all of the checks for everything go through the Treasury Department. And Elon Musk now has access to it. Now listen, this is in the Daily Mail. Fear is gripping Washington this morning as it has emerged that Elon Musk has gained access to the Treasury Department's payment system. So this is where all the checks go out to everyone worldwide, as well as inside the United States, for all the corruption. The system is run by non-political career civil servants, they say. Anyone believe that, they're non-politically left? Of course they're political. How do you think they got the job of being in charge of sending out all the money from the U.S. Treasury? The system is run by non-political career civil servants and controls trillions of dollars of government funds that go to programs like Social Security and Medicare. They always go to Social Security and Medicare to try to scare people. Oh, Social Security and Medicare, Elon's going to shut it down. We're not going to get our Social Security checks. Our Medicare is not going to get paid. Believe me, they're not worried. It's not going to happen, and that's not what they're really worried about. Any interruption in its operation would spark widespread economic failure. Now, keep in mind, Elon Musk isn't just some joker, okay? I mean, he's the richest man in the world. He sends rockets into space. He's absolutely brilliant. He knows what he's doing. The Treasury Secretary gave Elon Musk's DOGE department the green light to have full access to the payment system late Friday. It's not immediately clear why Elon Musk wants access to the system. I think it is, okay? It is. He wants to know where the checks are going. They have to, when they do these corrupt government things, the money has to go to someone. And the checks come from the Treasury Department, okay? So, yeah. Now listen to this. The Treasury system handles around $5 trillion annually. It could provide the Trump administration another means to target wasteful spending. I bet. If these federal employees that have been working full-time jobs when they're supposed to be working for the federal government, I think there's probably too many of them to arrest. He might have to make a deal just to fire them all with some. There's no way they could pay back the money. Could you imagine? They're so worried about these J6ers. Meanwhile, we have thousands of federal employees who have been stealing money. That's what that is. It's fraud. It's hardcore financial fraud, working while they're collecting a full government salary, which could be six figures. And can you imagine all the fraud going on with through this Treasury payment system that Elon has access to? And if now that he has access to it, they'll start going through it. And believe me, when you run businesses the size of Elon Musk and the people that he has around him can look at things like this that would be like, Chinese and Arabic, ancient Aramaic, if I were trying to read it, or you, but his people can read it without even any effort. Let's see here. I lost my place. Okay. This comes after a standoff this week with the top Treasury official who was in charge of the system through Trump's first term and Biden's tenure, who had resisted Elon Musk's attempt to access the system. That's the story I was talking about a moment ago. He was abruptly placed on leave before announcing his retirement on Friday. Democrats and the liberal press erupted over Elon Musk's move, with Elizabeth Warren calling for Congress to investigate Musk's new power. Yes. And Congresswoman Jayapal saying the ordeal reeks of corruption. What do you mean? Exposing corruption is now corruption? They're in a panic. You know, and I'll tell you, one of the reasons some of these people in Congress may be in a panic is because their friends, staff, and maybe even relatives and spouses are getting checks from the Treasury they shouldn't be getting. The allies of Musk who were granted access were reportedly made employees of the Treasury Department and were greenlit through government background checks. They've also obtained the necessary security clearances, according to the New York Times. See, a lot of people that work for Elon Musk already have security clearances because of SpaceX. So far, these people haven't gotten to work and no government payments have been shut off, according to sources. Musk has previously said he wants to cut at least $2 trillion in federal spending, a promise they say he's backpedaled to now saying $1 trillion, $1 trillion, $2 trillion. He'll probably find more than $2 trillion. The Treasury's acting deputy secretary was the last person to go against Musk, with the Washington Post reporting he resisted efforts from DOGE and the Trump transition team last month to get access to the Treasury Department payment system. I bet. There have been people, fake people, corrupt people getting payments every month from that Treasury system, I bet you, for decades. And a lot of them may not even be alive anymore, but I bet you the checks have still been cashed. The fiscal service platforms, some of the I lost my place. Hold on. The fiscal service performs some of the most vital functions in government, this ex-official said that was fired on Friday. Our work may be unknown to most of the public, but that doesn't mean it isn't exceptionally important. Yeah, paying off all these kickbacks, like all the Ukraine money and stuff goes through this. Musk said on Saturday, the DOGE team discovered, among other things, that payment approval officers at the Treasury Department were instructed always to approve payments, even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups. Did you hear that? What the heck? This is Elon. They literally never denied a payment in their entire career. Not even once, Elon posted to X. Not once. DOGE's responsibilities with the payment system remains murky. I don't think so. They want to find out where the money's going and who's cashing the checks. The task force's role, this is an interesting thing, because I remember when Bill Clinton first was elected president, he gave, I know this will sound so stupid when I say, but it's true. It never happened. But he gave Al Gore, as vice president, the job of finding government waste. And I remember seeing Al Gore on David Letterman, and he said he found a warehouse. Oh, this was the 94 or so. And Al Gore said he found a warehouse filled with Korean War era winter uniforms, and they and that was his big thing. That's nothing. And then that was the last thing he did. DOGE's role is to modernize federal technology and software to maximize governmental efficiency and productivity, according to the executive order. Mark Mazur, who was in senior level roles at the Treasury Department under Obama and Biden, told the Washington Post the payment system is not political and that any other use would be unprecedented. Of course, it's not political. Of course it is. I love how they say it's not political. You really think these crooks in Washington are going to put non-political people they don't trust and just nonpartisan people in charge of all the money? They're all in it for the money. Mazur went on to say, this is a mechanical job. They pay Social Security benefits. They pay vendors, whatever. Yeah, I bet. It's not one where there's a role for non-mechanical things, at least from the career standpoint. Your whole job is to pay the bills as they are due. It's never been used in a way to execute a partisan agenda. You have to really put bad intentions in place for that to be the case. What they're doing is finding corruption, not just wasteful spending, corruption. Now, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think more money is wasted on? Corruption or just government spending too much on things? And what I mean by corruption, I mean fake people getting paid, corrupt deals with countries and individuals, or is it just too much government spending on like paying too much for toilet seats and stuff? Most of the government waste and overspending is probably corruption. There's no doubt about it. If this is in the Daily Mail I'm reading from, by the way, and I did post this to X. If payments are somehow disrupted in the coming days, it would represent another avenue through which the Trump White House is attempting to bypass Congress. It goes on and on. I mean, this is beautiful. It doesn't get better than this. I mean, this has them really scared, and it's why they've worked so hard to try to drive a wedge between Trump and Elon Musk, because there's got to be a lot of people in Washington that are terrified. I mean, if you're doing crime and you're getting fraudulent money, you've got to be saying to yourself, "Oh my goodness, they're coming. They're coming," because Elon's got the books now. Basically, what's happened here is, if you remember The Untouchables, great. I love The Untouchables. That's a great movie, with Kevin Costner. Great music, great soundtrack. And remember that big gunfight scene they had in The Untouchables with the Canadian border, and they had the Canadian Mounties with them? That whole gun battle in The Untouchables was to get Capone's accountant, who had the books with him. He had the accounting books with him. I don't know, what kind of criminals keep accounting books, but they were in the movie. They were keeping them. Well, that's what Elon Musk has gotten a hold of here. He's gotten a hold of the accounting books for the mob by getting control of the Treasury payment system. And it's absolutely amazing. And oh my goodness. Now, I had mentioned this is the 1,808th episode of the Brian Craig Show podcast. Oh my goodness. And I know, it's crazy to me. That's a lot of episodes. If you're driving across America and back, you can do a great binge listening on your favorite podcast player. And those of you that are Patreon supporters, you've helped make our 1,808 episodes and adding more every time we do a new episode possible. And I want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. And if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter and support the program as a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. And Patreon supporters, you have access to commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And the way that works, there's a Patreon page. It's kind of in the same format as Facebook, but it's Patreon. And every time we do a podcast, I upload different versions, right? I have the version of the podcast that is for all the podcast players, all the different podcast platforms, because we're on all of them. I have another version I upload to YouTube, and then I upload the commercial-free edition of the podcast directly to the Patreon page. So if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to the commercial-free editions of all of our podcast. And it's a great benefit. And our top Patreon supporters get a live, on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. So the names you'll hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Dale, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, John S., Christy R., and Rob and Trish Wilkerson. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support. Okay, so we're still getting very little information about what happened in the DC plane crash. And over the weekend, we got the name of the lady pilot. And apparently, her entire social media has been wiped. We don't know who. Family. The family sent out a long statement that mentioned a partner. We don't know what that means. That's a little vague. But the question is, what are they hiding involving this woman that was the lady pilot? And, the thing about this Black Hawk helicopter, this is the first time I've seen something like this where I've heard that the family has withheld the name. and didn't want it released. Maybe it's happened before in a high profile thing, but I don't remember it happening to any of you. And then we get the name and we find out two things, one that are both disturbing and open up the door to more questions. But this is with the lady pilot. We find out two things. When they finally release her name, we find out two things. One, her entire social media has been wiped, everything. It's not that she did not have social media. She did, and they wiped it. So before we knew who it was, you didn't know where to go for the social media. Now that we do, it's gone. So you can't go on their social media and get any background on this person and find out anything about them or their background or their thoughts and their feelings on anything, in particular their politics. Because the other thing we found out about the lady pilot was, that she worked at the Biden White House for quite some time as an aide to Biden. Okay, now how do you get a job like that? Is that the kind of job you get in the Army, at an aide at the White House through connections? I don't know. But there's something that's being hidden here. And don't let anyone say that you're wrong to ask questions as to what they're hiding here. They're hiding something. And, President Trump and the cabinet came out very strongly in the beginning over DEI. They're sticking with that. And Trump and the defense secretary, all of them, they all know a lot more than we know. We haven't gotten the identity of the air traffic controller either. And I know that we have a short TikTok length attention span in this country right now. But, I haven't seen the press show any interest. And I find it hard to believe that this story is already going away in the press. I find it hard to believe that the DC press did not know the identity of this lady pilot before we did, before the internet was scrubbed. And I'd like to know, was the who in the family told the Army, because this is apparently a regulation that family members have a right to not have the names released of the family member. So who did this in the family? The parents, a brother or sister, or this mysterious partner, which is a very vague term? We have a right to know this. And I've seen that video many times. So have you, the new videos. It does not look like an accident. I mean, maybe it was. We'll find out. I mean, I'll trust Pete Hegseth and President Trump and Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, when they come out and they tell us what really happened. But it does not look like an accident to me. The helicopter was flying too high and directly into that plane. I don't know. But they're hiding something. The question is, what? Now, you could speculate and come up. It could be this. It could be that. And I'm not going to do that. But eventually it will come out. Now that the name is out there, someone will leak something. It could be a cousin, a friend, somebody in the family, in the circle, somebody in the unit, somebody who used to serve with or under this person because she was an officer. She had people under her. Someone will start to leak things because, it's a valuable story. Really, you could sell a story like this to some of these tabloids. And another thing, too, we live in this era where people want to go viral. So there are people that know a lot about this lady. And maybe it's nothing. Okay, maybe. But I find it odd. One, they wouldn't allow the name to be released. They said family. Two, she worked at the White House as an aide to Biden for quite some time. And then three, all of their social media was scrubbed. The only time social media gets scrubbed or locked down is when there's like a terrorist attack or a mass shooting event. I've never seen an instance like this in a high-profile story where there's an accident and they don't let the name be released until all their social media is scrubbed. Have you ever heard of anything like that? I haven't heard of anything like that. It's insane. But it will come out. And when it does, then we'll talk about it, I guess. But it will come out and we'll learn. And they're hiding something. Now, maybe what they're hiding is minor compared to whatever we could speculate on. But there's no doubt they're hiding something. It's only a matter of what are they hiding? And we got a right to know because this involves the safety of, the whole country, not just people that fly, but people on the ground. Look at that accident that happened in Philly the other night. So a lot of people are at risk until we know what's going on. And I'm here to tell you, I don't know if I'd fly right now. I flew a little over a week ago to see my daughter and back. I don't. If I had a ticket going this week, I would postpone it. I really would. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton. A lot of you guys know Dr. Philip Appleton because you've gone to him, and like me, he's rid you of your pain. His laser wave pain treatment actually repairs the damage that's causing you the pain. That's why when he's rid me of pain, it hasn't returned, because, the pain's a signal that something's wrong in your body. He's rid me of pain 7 times. He can do the same for you. It's amazing. His laser treatment, which Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself on all patients, does not have an assistant do it. He does them all, which is, I thought I was getting VIP treatment, right? But no, he does them you all get VIP treatment with Dr. Appleton. Appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. The laser wave pain treatment is 100% painless. You can't even feel it. There's no sensation, no feeling at all. There's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no downtime. And the best part, it works. Give Dr. Appleton a call. Now, while appointments are not necessary, you can make them. And if you're coming in from out of town or out of state, as a lot of you have done, you can make an appointment if you're coming from out of town or out of state. But you can also make an appointment if you're local as well. But you don't have to. Oops, sorry, hit the mic. You don't have to. You can just walk in. Now, I never make an appointment. I just walk in because something will happen. I'll hurt myself and I'm in pain. I need help now. And I'm not into taking drugs. If you take drugs for, of course, the addictive prescription ones, that'll be the end of you. But if you take over-the-counter drugs, even for medications, you're just masking what's causing the pain. That's not good. You want it fixed. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain, like I've done 7 times. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our last break and be right back. Don't go anywhere. Experience the mystery, elegance, and soothing power of Dark Night Candles. Only at candlesbyross.com. Handcrafted with care by Ross, the creator of the Dark Night Candle line. These luxurious candles are designed to ease anxiety, relieve stress, and bring a serene glow to your home. Each flame represents resilience, strength, and quiet sophistication. Infused with deep, evocative fragrances, Dark Night Candles are eco-friendly and handmade with care in the charming village of Grays Lake, Illinois. They're perfect for those who love modern luxury with a touch of mystique. Right now, enjoy free shipping and an exclusive buy 2, get 1 free offer. No code needed. Shop the entire Dark Night Candle collection today at candlesbyross.com. Let their glow bring warmth and serenity to your space. The Dark Night Candle collection, where modern craftsmanship meets legendary spirit. Order now at candlesbyross.com. From author Vanya Demedion comes a book that might just change your life. Are you feeling stuck in your love life? Maybe you're divorced, heartbroken, or just wondering if true love is even out there for you. This game-changing new book, From Divorced and Depressed to Soulmate Success, Manifest True Love in Less Than a Year, is written by someone who's been exactly where you are right now. Divorced, lost, and doubting everything. But it all turned around and manifested her soulmate. And now she's here to help you do the same. This is not just another book about dating. It's a proven step-by-step guide that will show you how to align your energy, clear the blocks that are holding you back, and attract the love of your life on your terms. Whether you're ready to manifest your dream partner or just take back your power, this book gives you the tools you need to do it. So stop the endless swiping and start manifesting the soulmate you deserve. Find a link to the book in the description of this episode and order your copy of From Divorced and Depressed to Soulmate Success. Manifest true love in less than a year. Remember, love is closer than you think. You just have to take the first step. Attention all cat and dog parents. Does your furry family member deserve the very best? Of course they do. And that's what you will find with Chef Kitty, the brand that brings gourmet joy to your pet's taste buds. Pets aren't just companions, they're our family. And just like family, they deserve top-notch care. And that's why Chef Kitty cooks up nutritious, all-natural treats with high-quality ingredients from trusted farms and fisheries. Cage-free chicken that's rich in protein and vitamins without a trace of grain, preservatives, additives, colorants, or GMOs. Everything Chef Kitty makes is human-grade quality, crafted to perfection to keep your pets healthy and happy. Chef Kitty's best sellers include freeze-dried chicken treats and waffle treats, bursting with natural flavors. It's not just a treat, it's love and nutrition in each and every bite. Visit chef-kitty.com and discover the secret to making your pet's tails wag with delight. Chef-kitty.com, where your pet's happiness and health come first. Chef-kitty.com. kitty.com. Are you looking for affordable property insurance that fits both your life and your budget? The USA General Insurance Home Protection Plan provides comprehensive coverage to safeguard your most valuable asset, your home. Protect your property and enjoy peace of mind with tailored policies that include fire and theft protection, liability insurance, and personalized options designed specifically for you. Their friendly team of experts will guide you every step of the way to find the very best coverage at the most affordable rates. Why settle for less when you can have peace of mind right now? Visit USAGeneralInsurance.com to schedule your consultation with an expert and get a personalized insurance plan that works for you. USA General Insurance. Protection for what matters most. Affordable, reliable, here for you. USAGeneralInsurance.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Kathy not with me today, and she's under the weather. I'm hoping she'll be back with me next time. All right. So this just broke. Mexico has announced retaliatory tariffs on the United States as president orders Plan B. I guess the Plan B is the Mexican. They got a lot of nerve. You know, Mexico, I understand it's a corrupt narco government. We all know that, right? It's really amazing to me. You know, all the problems with Canada, how we're holding them up, but the first world. We have North America. We got 3 countries. I know you can expand it to some others if you want to get into the Americas and, I don't know, Central America. Is that considered part of South or North America? You know, but when you think about North America, you think of 3 countries: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Why is it that the United States and Canada are first world countries and Mexico is third world? Parts of the United States have the same type of climate and everything they have. Well, it's just they're just corrupt. The Mexican president has ordered. This is in the Daily Mail. The Mexican president has ordered retaliatory tariffs in response to President Trump's decision to slap 25% tariffs on all goods coming from Mexico. Well, I'm sorry. Stop sending murderers and rapists here. Stop sending labor slavery here as well, and sex slavery. Stop sending drugs into our country. We're going to wake up one day and we're going to find out that President Trump has launched military strikes on cartels down there. That's coming. It's in the planning stages. It's only a matter of when. Mexico has been preparing possible retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports ranging from 5 to 20% on pork, cheese, fresh produce, manufactured steel, and aluminum. This is according to Reuters. The auto industry will be initially exempt, but there hasn't been a timetable on when that could change. The Mexican president said her government sought to negotiate with the U.S., its top trading partner, but it appears those efforts fell through. They've been attacking us. We have been under attack. Really, if you want to think about it, let me know in the comments of whatever platform you're listening to me on whether you agree with what I'm about to say or not. I don't think this is an exaggeration. We've basically been in a state of war with Mexico. We have been under attack really forever. There's never been a period in United States history where Mexico has not been a problem. Okay, that's just the way it is. But I'm talking about in the last recent decades, basically a state of war. Are we been attacked repeatedly 24 hours a day, as if we're warring nations, and it's all one-sided. They attack us. They're killing our people, not just through the rapes and murders and other things, but the drugs. And of course, ripping off our country by sending all these people up through here. The Mexican president said this on X. Isn't it amazing how everything goes through X now? This is what she says on X. In Spanish, I'm sure, but it's been translated. I've instructed my economy minister to implement the Plan B we've been working on, which includes tariff and non-tariff measures in defense of Mexico's interest. President Trump has been threatening tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China, which together make up about 40% of U.S. imports ever since he got elected. This weekend, Trump set the stage for a large-scale trade war with all three countries. Like Mexico, imports from Canada will also see a 25% levy. Chinese goods will be taxed an additional 10%. The import taxes will mean an annual loss of purchasing power of around $1,200 for a typical American family. I don't think so. This is all going to be resolved when it's over. I'm telling you. A wide range of products that come from these three countries could see price hikes: cars, gasoline, alcohol, produce, tech, smartphones. Trump's stated rationale for these tariffs has long been to punish these nations for not doing enough to stop fentanyl and other deadly opioids from coming into the United States. Yeah, China makes the opioids, ships them to Mexico, and then these illegals that are crossing the border all the time bring them into the United States. Trump also wants to pressure Canada and Mexico into reducing illegal immigration. Yeah, to zero. The Wall Street Journal editorial board said Trump's reasoning makes no sense and called it the dumbest trade war in history. Typical, right? And remember, Wall Street Journal's part of the Fox family. Trump raged at the conservative-leaning outlet's assessment of his trade policy, calling the Wall Street Journal always wrong and part of the tariff lobby. The tariff lobby, headed by globalist and always wrong. Wall Street Journal is working hard to justify countries like Canada, Mexico, China, and too many others to name. Continue the decades-long ripoff of America. This is Trump's post to Truth, both with regard to trade, crime, and poisonous drugs that are allowed to so freely flow into America, Trump wrote Sunday morning on Truth Social. Yeah, I mean, why the heck are we supposed to put up with the drugs, the illegals, and all those things? Why? Why are we supposed to eat that up and just accept it and suffer from it? For decades, this is in the Daily Mail, back to this article, for decades, the U.S. and Mexico have seen cross-border trade grow, including a highly integrated auto industry. Yeah, all this NAFTA stuff, which screwed us. Massive volumes of crude oil, natural gas, and motor fuels that move in both directions. See, we don't need any gas or natural gas from any other country. We have enough in the United States to supply the United States and have an excess to export. We have more oil than Saudi Arabia. We really do. I know, it's crazy. And natural gas, we have more natural gas than anyone. In 2023, the U.S. bought more than $45 billion in agricultural products from Mexico, 63% of imported vegetables, and 47% of fruits and nuts. Farm imports from Canada came to $40 billion. 25% tariff will push prices up. Well, I guess we'll have to use food grown on U.S. farms. Mexican economy minister said on X that Trump's tariffs were a flagrant violation of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. Well, what is this invasion and attack they're doing with their drugs and people from both sides of the border? That's not a violation? He said Plan B is underway. We, meaning Mexico, will win. Yeah, good luck with that. Almost a third of Mexico's gross domestic product depends directly on exports to the U.S., experts say. And that's only legal stuff. You don't include their illegal things they got going on. About 99% of the Mexican economy is dependent on the United States. I hope he would stops all tourism and cruise ships from going to Mexico. Almost a third of Mexico. Okay, I read that. With a universal tariff of 25%, it's estimated that exports could fall by around 12%. Mexico's GDP could fall 4% in 2025 if the tariff is maintained all year. In her post, the Mexican president rejected as slander the White House allegation that drug cartels have an alliance with the Mexican government. I mean, come on. Of course they control the government. Come on. Is there any doubt that Mexico is controlled by the cartels? And, Elon Musk posted something over the weekend, just today on X, about Lindsey Graham. I was talking in the last segment about U.S. aid, and Elon Musk found out that Lindsey Graham is a director at the International Republican Institute, which is a non-profit that is funded by USAID. These are the kind of things he's finding out. So Elon Musk posted that on Twitter, on X, and then he wrote, "Is this legal?" with a question mark. I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Lindsey Graham, who knows how much money he and his friends and others are making just off that USA scam he's got going there. We are really in a great time to be an American. This is the greatest time of any of our lifetimes to be alive as an American and having a president that's looking out for us. And, some of these things Trump's doing, there may be some pains. Trump said that on Friday. There may be some pain from some of it. For a while, it'll settle out and be okay. President Trump is resetting the entire planet with us on top and us not being taken advantage of. And, it's really such a shame that, all these things that we're talking about is because our public officials have all been so corrupt. They've sold our country out. And that's why you want to have uber rich people, these billionaires like Elon and Trump running the country. They can't be bought. They're not into it to make money. They've already made not just their money, more money than they could ever spend. Now, I want to tell you guys about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. If you're in the state of Florida, give him a call. I ran into Tom at the Greek Festival over the weekend, and we were talking. He can handle the job of any size, whether it's one building or like a single family home or a condo community with 300 buildings. He can handle the job of any size. If you got an HOA, he's an expert on dealing with HOAs. He also can handle a roof if it's not just residential, but commercial, municipal, and he even does specialty things like church roofs. He works with every type of roofing material too. Give him a call. Make sure you tell him I sent you. He'll take very good care of you. And this cell phone number of his, he only gives out to our listeners, whether it's here on the podcast, my YouTube channel, or on the radio. Others don't have access to this number. And I'm going to give you Tom Laporta's cell phone number. And this is his cell phone number. In fact, when I knew he was at the Greek Festival, and I was texting with him before and even after I left, because I was telling, don't leave without having a gyro. I use this number to text and call Tom Laporta myself all the time. Okay, so this is his number. If you go to his website, the number on his website, laportaroofing.com, that's not his cell phone number. And to think about it, to have the cell phone number of the owner of a company that's going to do the roof on your home, your business, your HOA, your condo, that's really amazing to have their cell phone number even before the job, but of course, during and after. Here it is. Call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. Make sure you tell them Brian Craig sent you. Well, I hope Kathy will be feeling better and back with me next time. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. My name's Brian Craig, and we will talk to you next time.